When you think of the all-time greats in football, who comes to mind? Probably Pelé, Messi, Cruyff, right? It's always the goal scorers, the creative geniuses. But what if I told you that one of the single most revolutionary players to ever grace a pitch was a goalkeeper? Today, we're going to talk about the man they called the Black Spider, Lev Yashin, and how he didn't just play the position, he completely reinvented it. I want you to look at this number. 1. That's it. In the entire long history of football, that is how many goalkeepers have ever won the game's highest individual honor, the Ballon d'Or. Just one.
So that brings us to the big question, the one we're going to unpack today. In a sport that is absolutely obsessed with goals and the players who score them, how on earth did a goalkeeper become, without question, the best player in the world?
To really get just how big of a deal Yashin was, we have to rewind the clock. We have to understand what goalkeeping looked like before he showed up. Because honestly, it was a completely different world.
Back in the 40s and 50s, the goalkeeper was basically a specialist who was confined to a tiny strip of grass. Their entire world was the goal line. They were seen as purely reactive players, almost separate from the rest of the team.
I mean, think about this job description. Your coach tells you to stay put, right on your line. Your only real job is to try and save shots that come right at you. If you get the ball, you just boot it as far down the field as you can, no real aim or strategy. You don't talk, you don't organize, you were just there. A silent last line of defense, and that was it. But then, everything was about to change. Enter Lev Yashin. And what made him so different, his secret weapon, wasn't something he learned on a football pitch. It was something he learned on ice. And this is where the story gets really cool. Yashin also played as an ice hockey goalie for Dynamo Moscow's youth teams. Just picture the skills you need for that. You need insane reflexes to stop a tiny frozen puck flying at you. You have to be completely fearless. And you need that explosive side-to-side movement. These were skills that football keepers at the time just didn't have. It gave him a totally different athletic foundation. And boy, did he put those skills to good use. His career was just incredibly dominant. He wins Olympic gold in '56, the Euros in 1960, and then the absolute peak in 1963. He's awarded the Ballon d'Or. And you know, he did it all while staying at one single club, Dynamo Moscow, for his entire 22-year career. Just amazing.
And you can hear his whole philosophy in his own words. He saw the keeper not as the last man, but as the first attacker. A leader who commands the entire defense, who starts the play. He completely rejected the idea of being a passive spectator.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How did he actually do it? What were the specific things he brought to the game? We're going to break down the blueprint that he created, a model that, believe me, every top keeper is still using today. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's night and day. The old way was all about reacting. Yashin was proactive. He didn't just stay on his line, he commanded his entire penalty box. Those long, hopeful punts were gone, replaced by quick, precise throws to start a counterattack. The silent guy in the back? Nope. He was now the loudest guy on the field, the vocal leader. He rewrote the entire job description.
So it really boils down to three huge innovations. 1. Aggressive positioning. He was famous for charging out of his goal to intercept a long pass or claim a cross. He stopped attacks before they even started. 2. Visionary distribution. He was one of the first to use a quick, powerful throw to immediately launch an attack. And 3. He was a coach on the field, constantly shouting, pointing, and organizing his defenders.
And here's the truly wild part. All of this stuff that seemed so strange and even reckless to people back then, well, today, it's just called goalkeeping. It's the absolute bare minimum you expect from any elite keeper. He set the new standard. And you can see his ghost everywhere in the modern game. Seriously, when you see Manuel Neuer playing as a sweeper keeper 30 yards from his goal, that's Yashin. When Alisson or Ederson launch a perfect 60-yard pass to start a goal-scoring opportunity, that's Yashin. His blueprint is still being followed to the letter. So all of this innovation, this total transformation of a position, it all leads to one incredible legacy. A legacy that, in one very specific way, has never, ever been matched. And it's why he stands completely alone in the history books. This chart just says it all. It is staggering to look at. Since 1956, you've had 64 midfielders and forwards win the Ballon d'Or. You've had a tiny 4 defenders win it. And then, all by itself, one goalkeeper. It's such a statistical anomaly that it perfectly shows you how unbelievable his achievement really was. And we can't forget the conditions he played in. He did all of this with those old, heavy leather footballs that got soaked in the rain, with gloves that offered almost no protection, and on pitches that were basically mud pits half the time. This wasn't about technology, it was pure, raw talent and intelligence. So let that sink in. For more than 60 years since Lev Yashin was officially named the best footballer on earth, no other goalkeeper has managed to do it, not once. Which leaves us with one last question to think about. In our modern era, an age totally dominated by hyper-athletic, goal-scoring superstars, is it even possible for a goalkeeper to be seen as the best in the world ever again? Or will the Black Spider's incredible legacy forever stand alone?